Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today, for Dungeon Dwellers Podcast / Tokusatsu Thursdays, which is our new weekly show that we do, we're review. I know I said I was gonna do like something Ultraman related, but I couldn't finish the show in time. So instead, we're doing a double feature movie review. We're reviewing both Kamen Rider ZO and Kamen Rider J, which is two early 1990s short films produced by Toei Company, directed by Keita Amemiya, who is like the James Cameron of Japanese tokusatsu, where he's directed a lot of cool movies, tokusatsu movies like ZO, which had an anime made after it, but like there was an original live action movie. He did the Garo TV shows and movies. He also did Mechanical Violator Hakaider, which is like a spin-off of Hakaider, where the main character is the evil villain of that show. Which is, I saw it in English dubbed on YouTube, where you have Richard Epcar that did the voice of Hakaider. It was pretty great. So first off, we're going to review them in the years that they came out. First off is Kamen Rider ZO, which is about 48 minutes long. It's on the Toei Tokusatsu World official channel, where you can watch it for free. But you have to deal with ads every 2 minutes, so that was freaking horrible. You can also watch Kamen Rider J on there, but the Kamen Rider J is also on another YouTube channel, which is where I watch it. Also, Bandai, the toy company, helped produce these movies. The main character is Masaru Aso, Kamen Rider ZO, played by Ko Doman. You have Naomi Morinaga as Reiko, Kenji Oba as Crota, who Kenji Oba is famous for Space Sheriff Gavon, which is a very popular tokusatsu show. You have Shoei Shibata as Hiroshi Mochizuki, Hiroshi Insuka Sakeichi Mochizuki, which is the grandfather, and Asao Sasaki as Dr. Mochizuki. So this movie is basically about... Oh, there was a Sega CD game. That's cool. So it's basically about, think Terminator 2 bit with Kamen Rider, where our main character is in like suspended animation, gets woken up by a telepathic voice, and there's like a little grasshopper there that like sends him information as well. That grasshopper is not explained, which I thought that was Barry from Kamen Rider J, but this movie was came out a year earlier, so that doesn't make sense. But yeah, so he gets woken up, telling him he has to go and protect Hiroshi Mochizuki, which is the son of the scientist that turned our main character into Kamen Rider ZO, which is like enhanced human, where he can transform into like basically a grasshopper themed superhero, with like, you know, enhanced agility, strength, and whatnot, and his super powerful rider kick, which I don't remember if he actually does a rider kick in this movie. He probably has, I just don't remember it. So yeah, he has to go and protect Hiroshi. Hiroshi has been living with his kooky grandfather for like the last couple months because his father was missing. His father was working on this life form called Neo Life Forms, where he was basically trying to create the ultimate life form, and that ultimate life form is sending out monsters, which one of them is an evil Kamen Rider, a bat monster, and a Spider Woman, which in her fight with Kamen Rider ZO, she's like stop motion animation, right? But still looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he is being held captive by the life form because he refuses to finish perfecting him because he realized that this life form is evil. Obviously, he eventually kidnaps Hiroshi to blackmail him into trying to perfect him. And the only hope for our characters is for Kamen Rider ZO to defeat this perfect being, which obviously he does. So I really like this movie, just like with Kamen Rider J, which I watched Kamen Rider J first today, but I realized, oh shit, this movie came out first, so I have to review this first. But yeah, it's the thing where there's lots of cool action, cool stunts, cool practical effects, lots of ultra violence. There's lots of ultra violence where like our main characters like chopping off limbs, punching holes through monsters and stuff. Just like in the, but kind of like in Kamen Rider J, but Kamen Rider J wasn't as ultra violent as this one. This is the more ultra violent of the two Kamen Riders. So I would Kamen Riders movies, and I don't know. If you were to ask me which one is the best one, a lot of people agree it's this one. But Kamen Rider J has its own qualities that I really enjoy. So if you're looking for almost like an M-rated Kamen Rider movie, check out this one. No, it's not M-rated, but it's close. The only M-rated Kamen Rider movie I know is Shin Kamen Rider, which came out in 1992. So also check that out, which is also on the Toei channel, but they probably age restricted it because it has titties in that movie. So if I were to give this one a rating, I would say it's a 7 out of 10. Next we're reviewing Kamen Rider J, which I watched the first time. It's also directed by Keita Amemiya, and its cast is Yuta Mochizuki, which is weird coincidence that he has the same last name as the characters from the first movie. As Koji Sagawa, aka Kamen Rider J, you have Yuka Nomura as Kana Kimura, Rikako Ikawa as Barry, Kyoji Kamioe as Gurai. Sorry, I have to load the rest of the cast. Satoshi Kurihara as Akito, Maho Murayama as Fog Mother voice, Shuji Ishida as Earth Spirit 1, Eureka, it's spelled Y-U-R-I-K-A, so I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm assuming it's Eureka, as Earth Spirit, and Shozo Izuka as the narrator. So the story for this one is basically this living alien spaceship shows up on Earth called Fog Mother, and with her 3 henchmen, she wants to wipe out humanity by hatching a bunch of eggs, which all contain monsters just like her 3 servants, which all can transform into different monsters. One can transform, what's his name? Agito can turn into like a lizard monster. Zoo, which is the girl, can turn into a wasp monster. Kind of like if you ever seen the One Punch Man, one of the early episodes where Demon Cyborg, whose name I forgot, is it's funny, I can't remember his name, but I can remember his hero name that he never goes by. Fights this mosquito female monster. That they basically look the same, right? And the last one is Gurai, who looks really cool. It kind of looks like a cross between like Giant Robo and like kind of like some kind of like HR Geiger like fucking monster, which lots of HR Geiger looking shit in both these movies, which gives it like kind of like a horror movie feel, which which is funny because like the first time I ever watched Kamen Rider J was like late at night on YouTube. Yeah, so like they're on Earth and they're looking for a sacrifice. Uh, the 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 power the machine or whatever to finally hatch the fucking eggs, right? So they can wipe out all life on Earth and take it over for their like the alien empire or whatever. So whatever fucking bullshit. So like on this mountain there's this guy, our main character, Yuta, or sorry, not Yuta, Koji Sagawa, aka Kamen Rider J, who's on the mountain camping, investigating why everything on this mountain is dying, why all the creatures left. There he meets this little girl named Kana, who also cares a lot about this mountain, right? She brings him coffee late at night, and the alien ship Fog Mother shows up, passes by, sees the little girl, and they decide, hey, let's kidnap her and use her for a ritual sacrifice, right? And one of the guys, the old guy, which is Agito, shows up and like kills our main character, who is then revived by the Earth spirits, which they dress up like druids in this lab and basically turn him into Kamen Rider J, which Kamen Rider J looks a lot like Kamen Rider ZO, but with like lime green color stripes throughout his body, right? Which, and the reason why they did that was it was like, well, some people say it was to pay homage to the first two Kamen Riders, which were basically both have the same costume, but like were given different names. Like the first Kamen Rider was Ichigo, and the second Kamen Rider was, I don't know, but I think I can't remember the name, but it's like it has two in it, which, you know, Ichi means one in Japanese, hence like, you know, Ichigo, and like I think that he was called Naito, I can't remember, but yeah, that's why like Kamen Rider J and Kamen Rider ZO look alike, because they're paying homage to that. So he gets told he has to go and like destroy Fog Mother and her henchmen, or they're gonna wipe out all life on Earth. He goes out and he fights them one by one with the help of Barry, who's this grasshopper monster, which doesn't even look really like the head does not look like a grasshopper at all, but whatever, right? And they fight the monsters. He fights the monsters one on one, and eventually he gets defeated, but then is revived and turns into a giant, and fights the spaceship itself and defeats Fog Mother, right? But she gives like one last, like, you know, hurrah, where she sucks him into the ship and tries to blow, tries to kill him while she's dying, but you know he escapes, right? And that's the end of the movie. So I really enjoyed it. You had all the H.R. Geiger stuff. You had the cool fights. Though it's not as ultra violent, there are some pretty cool fights, right? You had the one dude with you had Garai with his like little lightsaber thing, which was a physical. It was like basically like a sword with a tube, and a flashing tube. So it's like. So I guess they couldn't like do like, you know, the special effects, right? They made the lightsaber a practical effect, which it's like weird because they did like the stupid, like not stupid. I enjoyed the rotoscoping special effects, but why couldn't they do that for the sword? Why did it have to be like a flashing tube? But whatever, right? And they did a good job with during the fight scene where like Kamen Rider J is supposed to be a giant, where they basically just did like a low angle so to make him look big, I guess. Which and it was like all cloudy and worked, and like he does this really cool rider kick where he jumps into despite being giant, he can still jump very high. Jumps basically into the fucking low orbit atmosphere, and then jumps down for a rider kick, picks up speed, where his foot is like on fire. Fogmother is sending like a circular saws at him, trying to cut his foot in half, but it just deflects off his like flaming foot, and he destroys Fogmother with a really cool like rider kick. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. It's not as ultra violent as the other movie, but there was some cool special effects, especially with the Fogmother ship, and you had the whole like Ultraman feel where like Kamen Rider J turns into like a giant. Which, as far as I know, the Kamen Rider J is. As far as I know, Kamen Rider J is still the only Kamen Rider that can turn into a giant. There hasn't been a Kamen Rider since that can do that, from what I've heard. So I don't know. I'm also giving it a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed both these movies, and if you're one of those guys who are like, who are into like, Power Rangers and shit like that, Super Sentai, but like, can't watch the TV shows because they're a little too kiddie. You want something like a little aged up, right? Check out Kamen Rider ZO, Kamen Rider J, and Shin Kamen Rider. Those are the more mature Tokusatsu movies. And there's also a newer Kamen Rider Amazon TV show, which I haven't seen it, but like a lot of people say that's like M-rated, ultra-violent Kamen Rider. So yeah, make sure to check that out. And hopefully one day I'll check it out. There's also Garo, which is also like kind of M-rated, right? Yeah, and my problem with Garo is there's too much like CGI, and like if I kind of don't like how they're all like all the different versions of Garo pretty much all look the same, except for like little changes and details here and there. But I don't know. So Garo is still a cool show if you haven't seen it. Yeah. So that's it for today's Tokusatsu Thursday review. Next time I'm definitely going to review the Ultraman TV show, right? And I'm already halfway through it. I'll have it done by next Thursday. All right, guys. That's it for today.